They are moving slow. 3 signs that they like you, but they just want things to slow down. Hi guys, my name is Christine and I'm a dating, relationship and personal development coach. And today I'm talking about 3 signs that they do really like you, but they just want things to slow down. So when you're dating someone, there can be a bit of a subtle art to figuring out these kinds of things, because sometimes people can really like us and things can go really fast with them. But there's other times when you might meet someone who does really like you, but they may be moving and falling in love at a slower pace than what you are. And it may seem from your point of view that they are slowing things down, and it may even appear like they don't like you. So what are the signs that someone does like you, but they genuinely just want things to slow down? And that's what we're going to be talking about today. So let's get into the first sign. So the first sign is when you ask them out, they still show up, right? So when you ask to meet them, they still turn up. If someone doesn't like you, they won't show up to a date, okay? Especially if your date is something inexpensive, because I have known people to go out on dates because they know the other person is going to pay, and therefore they like getting the free lunch, the free meal or whatever. I've actually know people who have done this. So that can sometimes happen. But if you're doing something that's kind of inexpensive, like just meeting out for a drink and you're not having something to eat, or you're just doing some kind of activity, like you might be meeting up to go for a walk, something inexpensive, something that they're not really going to get anything out of it apart from your company, right? Then that's a good way to tell that they do actually like you, because they're showing up to the date. The date isn't really offering anything too much apart from your company. And that's a good way to tell, and if they like you, they will do that. They will show up to that. Someone that doesn't like you won't show up to those kinds of things. They'll want to go somewhere nice for dinner. They'll want you to pay for it, all that kind of stuff. Or they may not even show up at all, right? One word of warning though about doing things that are inexpensive. Don't just, especially in the first few dates and you haven't got to that point yet, but make sure that when you are asking someone out and you're kind of thinking, well, let's just see if they want my company, don't offer to just meet at the place where you live, because they may think that, oh, we're going to be getting physical with each other if we do that. And usually when you start dating someone, they want to meet you outside of those kinds of places first, where it can be really, really private, because they don't know you very well yet and they might be a bit dubious, a bit curious about doing something like that so soon. So when you are trying to plan something that's inexpensive to be able to tell if someone actually does really like you, then plan it as in like going for a walk, or just going for something simple like a cup of coffee, something that's inexpensive. Don't plan anything about meeting up at where you live or anything like that, because that might make them suspicious of you. But the point is that when you ask this person out, they still show up to the date. Even if they are saying to you things like, I really want to go slow, they still appear, they still turn up. So the second sign that they like you, but they just want things to slow down, is they follow through. So that means that they keep their promises and they stick to their words. Obviously, an example of that is something that I've previously talked about, which is they show up to dates when you've arranged a date with them. So let's say you are at school and they might be helping you with a project, they're always there to help you. Another example, which I think is really important, is how thoughtful they are with these kinds of things. So for example, you guys might be on a date and you talked about a movie, and let's say they had the movie at home, they had the Blu-ray of it, and they said, oh, I can let you borrow it. And then, when you next see them, they give you the Blu-ray or whatever. It's like these little thoughtful things that they've put a lot of thought in and they've remembered to do, right? So they keep their promises, in that kind of sense. If they said, oh, it would be really great one day if we go here, and they actually, start making plans for that to happen, and they actually, start facilitating those things to actually happen. So they might say, oh, we should really go to that restaurant the next time I see you. And then they do that, and actually that thing actually happens, and they plan it and stuff like that. So that's another little subtle way. Like if they're thoughtful and they follow through on those little promises and those little things that they've spoken to you about. So another example of this is, let's say, you're talking about your childhood and they're telling you something funny about that happened in their childhood, and they're like, oh, I think I have a photo of that at home. The next time I see you, I'll have to bring it to show you. And when you meet up, they actually do that. They actually have brought the photo because they remembered the conversation. You know, people that don't like you won't remember these little subtle things. People that don't like you just won't care about that kind of stuff, and they won't follow through on their promises, on the things that they've said. And the third sign that they really like you but they are just wanting things to slow down is they may back off when things are moving too fast, but when you back off as well and you start going at their pace, their interest starts to increase and things start moving a bit faster. And that's kind of like how you can tell basically what you should do when someone says to you, this is kind of moving a bit too fast for me. You just back off, match and mirror what this person is doing. So for example, you look at the correspondence on your phone that you two have been having and see who's sending the most messages, who's sending the longer messages, who's initiating contact the most. And if you're the one that's doing that, if you're the one that's doing the most, you basically just need to back off and match and mirror what they're doing, how they're communicating with you. Like for example, you might be talking to them every day, but they only send you 1 or 2 messages a day, but you're sending a lot more. So then if they're only sending 1 or 2 messages to you a day, then you also send only 1 or 2 messages that day. And just going at their pace and just backing off when they say that things are moving too fast, and you start matching and mirroring what they are doing. And when you do that, basically what will happen if they like you is they will start to be moving things more forward. But you have to respect basically when someone says to you, you're moving too fast for me, things are moving too fast, can we slow down a bit? Just go with it, just run with it. If they like you, then things will improve over time and things will start getting to the point where you want to get it to. But you have to be very patient and you have to go at their pace. You cannot rush these things. And if they don't like you and you slow things down, they'll just fizzle off into the horizon and you'll never really hear from them that much ever again. And therefore you know your answer then, and then you can focus on other people and find someone else to start talking to and to start dating. In that kind of way, then you can kind of see it as a win-win situation. If things are slowing down, well, okay, things have got to slow down, but if this person likes me, then it's going to go fine, and eventually we will end up in a relationship and all the kinds of things that you may be dreaming of. But if not, then you can just find someone else if they don't like you and they just disappear eventually. You can then just focus your attention on finding someone else, finding someone better, finding someone that is into you. If you'd like help with me personally, then please go to www.christineloveridge.com. Thank you so much for watching, and I shall talk to you again very soon. Goodbye.